Hello preschoolers. Today we are going to talk about a certain kind of animal called an amphibian. So the book I have today is called Awesome Amphibians. What do you think an amphibian might be? What does that look like to you? Maybe a kind of frog? Let's find out. All right, meet the amphibians. Check out this cool creature. It may look like a lizard, but it is not one. It is a salamander. Salamanders belong to a group of animals called amphibians. Frogs and toads are also amphibians. So frogs look like this, and they have smooth, slippery skin, and toads have dry, warty skin. So you very often find frogs in the water or near the water, and toads you can sometimes find, I've seen them in the woods, not exactly in the water, just hopping along a path. And these are amphibians too. They're called caecilians, and they spend most of their time underground. Kind of looks like a snake, doesn't it? So those are some kinds of amphibians. So we're going to learn about frogs. We learned about them a little bit in our book about how they hatch, and I have some more photos of that in this book. All amphibians hatch from underwater eggs. At first, they need to stay in the water to survive. So there's the female frogs lay thousands of eggs in the water. So there's day one with the little frog eggs. Can you see those? And then at 2 weeks, the tadpoles, the baby frogs, hatch, and they live in the water, and they breathe through gills. So they stay in the water and live and breathe in the water just like a fish. At 3 months, the froglets, the baby frogs, have legs, and they develop lungs so that they can breathe in the air. And then at 4 months, the grown-up frogs lose their tails. So when they're tadpoles and when they're baby frogs, they have little tails. Can you see that? And when they're grown-ups, they lose their tails, and then they spend a lot of time on land. Then they can be in the land and in the water too. As amphibians grow, they change. After a while, they are able to breathe air and go on land. So all amphibian babies start as eggs in the water, and then they spend time in the water. And then after a while, when their lungs develop, they can breathe air on the land. Amphibians are skillful hunters. Toads use their long, sticky tongues to snatch bugs for lunch. Gotcha. He grabbed a bug with his tongue. Amphibians are great at getting around. Frogs and toads swim and hop, and salamanders crawl and scurry. Caecilians wiggle and dig. So there they are. So that caecilian looks like a snake, but it's not really a snake. It's an amphibian. And that's how amphibians move in the water and on the land. Some amphibians, are great at blending in. This is called camouflage. That's when they look like the land or water around where they are. Camouflage helps them hide from creatures that want to gobble them up. Birds, snakes, and raccoons all eat salamanders. So you can see how the salamander is hard to see. He's the color of the ground around him, and that helps him hide from the snakes and raccoons that want to eat that little salamander. Some amphibians are great at standing out. Their bright colors warn predators, don't eat us, we taste bad and can make you sick. So the kind of amphibians that are kind of not good for other animals to eat have bright colors that warn them not to eat them, like the yellow poison dart frog and the blue poison dart frog. So they're poisonous for animals to eat. Red-eyed tree frog, green poison dart frog, Panamanian golden frog, and the tomato frog. I guess he's kind of orangey red like a tomato. So those bright colored frogs are not good for animals to eat. They would make them sick. Some amphibians are very large. This type of salamander can weigh more than 50 pounds. Wow. That's a big salamander right there. Some amphibians are tiny. This type of frog is as small as an insect. Look how tiny he is. He's on that person's nose. Little teeny tiny frog. People used to think that touching frogs and toads would give them warts, but that's not true. It's only what we call a myth. Some amphibians are exceptional jumpers. Certain frogs can leap 20 times their body length. So this is a European tree frog, and he can jump really far. Some amphibians are just plain funny looking, but all of them are awesome. Don't you agree? This is an ornate horned toad. It's kind of a funny looking toad, isn't it? There are more than 5,000 different kinds of amphibians in the world. And that is the end of our story about amphibians. So I'm going to teach you a song about one kind of amphibian, about frogs, and we're going to use our hands for this because there are 5 frogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the beginning of our song. So it goes like this. 5 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. So that one ate a bug, jumped into the water, swam around, and now there are 4 speckled frogs on the log. 4 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there were, how many? 1, 2, 3. 3 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. 3 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there were, how many? 1, 2. 2 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. 2 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there was 1 green speckled frog. Glub, glub. 1 green and speckled frog sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. She jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there were no green speckled frogs, 0. And no glubs, because the frogs are all gone. They're all swimming in the pool. Well, I hope you liked that song, and I hope you liked learning about amphibians today. And next week, we will learn about some other kinds of animals. So far we've talked about birds and amphibians, and those are 2 kinds of animals. And we'll learn about more next week. So that's all for today. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.